Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Banished. It's your boy John, and we're back in Amesburyport. Last episode, we had a lot going on. We built some orchards. We built our first farm, had a great yield, and a few little items here and there as well. Everything's going according to plan, so that's great. All right. We've sped up time a little bit because these folks can be a little slow. I mean, I'm sure you can imagine, living during this time, just having to go back and forth, between all these buildings and moving around and moving stuff. I mean, this is exactly why it's imperative that once we get to later stages in the game and we start expanding out, we have to be able to expand our supply chain as well to scale it up. Folks aren't going to be living in the village for the rest of their lives, so they're going to be moving around. So we're going to have to build some markets as well as some other things. So everything seems to be going well right now. We're at about 1,600 food. We've got tools. We've got clothes, iron. We have we have 13 kids going to school, which is great because when they go to school, they become more educated and they are more efficient when they're doing the work. So that's great. Doing well. People are happy. They're healthy. That's great. So far, so good. So at some point, we're going to want to expand a little bit further. I think the farm was a good first step. We're going to want to build out some more farms when we get the opportunity. We're also going to want to create some more homes and build some of this other stuff that we have going on. Trading dock, a trading post would be a fantastic next step. So I think a trading post is a really good goal for this episode. We have a few other things. I think a town hall at some point would be lovely. Probably right here. Really awesome. That'd be like the perfect spot. Nice little town hall. So I think we'll do a town hall. Let's see. Do we have enough materials for this? 32, 48. We do. We could just do this right now. Yeah. Why not? Live a little. Let's do it right now. Right where those deer are. Get the hell out of here, deer. We are building a town hall. So we're in early spring. Folks are going to start planting in the fields. We don't want to pull too many resources from that. So I don't want to pull from the farmers, but we do need at least one. Whoops. Do need at least one builder. We could pull from the forester. Oh, we got somebody who joined the labor force as well. That's perfect. All right. So we're going to get that town hall built. I love the town hall because it gives you some extra organizational capabilities. It centralizes a lot of the information that you need in order to run the town. So, for instance, when you're trying to learn about what you have in stock, what sort of stuff you have in your inventory, it collects all of that information from different sources and puts it all in one place, which is nice. So, you can suss out some of your production issues. Down the line, we're going to have food going, to every which way. They're going to go to different markets, they're going to be in different storage barns. Just because we have a storage barn here where everything is going, once we start building out more fields, we're going to want to build a storage barn over here so that folks don't have to walk all the way over here in order to drop their stuff off. So All that stuff is going to be all over the place. And, you know, it'll be nice to see in total how much stuff we have and see the breakdowns. That way we can work out any sort of supply issues. Because if somebody's saying, oh, I don't have enough food, but, you know, we have a ton of food, it's because somewhere along the line it's not quite making it. With this, we'll also be able to accept nomads, which are just, you know, they're folks passing through the town, and you can get a sudden infusion, if you will, an injection of population, just a whole bunch of people at once. You know, it's a great tool to scale really quickly. So if you wanna build up a bunch of fields, or if you want to do a bunch of building really quick, it's a great way to do that. Caveat: when you get nomads, they can bring disease. Sounds terrible, but it's just the mechanic of the game. Folks wandering around, they're just, you know, they're going to be more susceptible to that stuff. So make sure that if you do something like that, that A, you have ample housing for them, because, you know, you could all of a sudden have 26 people that come and join your village. That could be really intense if you don't have any housing. You're gonna have a lot of people out in the cold. But also, you want to make sure that you have a hospital, because it would really suck. You get that disease here, and then you got to deal with it. All right, let's build. This is almost done. Let's build some. Build a nice little road. Oh, it's perfect. Look at that. Nice little road. That looks great. All right. Let's check this out. So, this is great. So, it has all of this information. So, this is nice. If you want to cut down on the amount of like windows you have, you can technically do a lot of that stuff from here. You can see how many families you have, how many people are clothed, educated. Super important. You can see your production, and you can see graphs. So, like, if you're a nerd, you're going to love this, because you can see all the graphs over a period of time. So I can look over 10 years. Boom, our population has soared. Adults, children going down. So people are having less children. That's interesting. It's an interesting thing. Nomads, if you have nomads, this is where you can bring them into the fold, and as well as trade items. This is awesome because you'll be able to see which seeds and livestock you have. This is super helpful because I was going to build some fields for livestock, but it turns out I don't have any livestock, so it would have been a total waste of time. I can make squash, and I can make corn, which is great, as well as walnuts. We made some walnut trees. But this is great for when you're trying to see which items you have on hand in order to build out fields and such. General inventory, you can also see items that are in trading posts versus items in people's homes, which is great. And storage, you can sort by all sorts of things. It's just such a useful tool. You can see your production. I love this one because over the last year, you can see how many things you've used, how many you're producing over time. So this gives you a general idea of like where you want to be, right? So, you know, we've produced a surplus here. We've produced a surplus of, you know, about 70 units of logs, and we've only used about 153. So with this knowledge, you would be able to maybe go, okay, well, if we're producing a surplus every time, we can maybe sell off some of those. We can trade them. We can put them in a little trading post. We can spin up some other production. So we could go and we could build some additional firewood, right? We could raise our firewood limit and build more firewood if that's something that we want to do, or build more tools or what have you. So this is great. I love this view. It helps me to, you know, plan stuff out. You know, we have a surplus of food. It's good to know. We produce 5,600. We you know, used under 5,000. So 600 food we could trade without having to worry, without, you know, cutting into our supply. Now, obviously, this is important as you compare, because you want to look at your graphs as well. So if you look within the last year, you know, we used more because, you know, we had a bit of a spike in population. So that's something that you have to keep in mind as well. You know, look at all of your stuff. I think you can also go to food here. So you can look at a graph of food over 10 years, just how much you're making. Big dip there. We had a big spike in population, so food plummeted. Right? This is right now 10 years. Let's look at the 10-year chart for population. Yeah, so right there we had a big population spike. Oop. Right about the same time. So all the food went down. We had to produce more food. So this is great. This is an awesome tool to have. I love it. I'm glad it's here. Actually, reallocate these folks back. Oh, it turns out we had a whole bunch of kiddos join the labor force. So that's great. Oh, it's late autumn and it's snowing. There we go. 1,100 squash. So we went through an entire squash season. We went through an entire squash season while I was talking about the town hall. And we have walnuts. Perfect. So we started the walnut harvest. That's fantastic. All right. So got a town hall. It's a super useful thing to have. Definitely build it. All right. So we are at 6 laborers. So we can definitely start expanding out a little bit. Just depends on which direction we want. So I said before, I think a trading post would be a really good thing to have. A trading post is going to allow us to build, trade goods and get new types of seeds, livestock, all sorts of things. So I think that's a good place to go now. So let's look at where we should put this. Well, before I thought this was a good place, but it looks like it's not quite even enough to do there. This might be an okay place. Might be an okay place. In fact, we just do it right there. Yeah, that's okay. Let's do that. All right. Let's build some decorative paths just to make it look good. Build a path there. Town hall. Dirt there. Dirt road there. Let's make everything really good. Fucking built there. It's looking really good. Look at this. Look at us. All right, we got that trading post going. That'll be really nice, actually, because it's right next to all of these resources. Some roots. Plenty of food. That's great. Perfect. Once we get in here, too, we can see just how much things are going for as well. So we can see the sort of the price of stuff that we want to trade, and maybe that will influence the sorts of things that we put in here. You can have 6 people in here. I always find that's a little intense. I don't think I've ever fully stocked this place. Let's see. Inventory. So we have... What's a good inventory item? So if we do that... Let's see. Trade. Purchase. So there's all sorts of stuff in the trading post. Ah. It's trampled by a wild boar. Oh. Oh, that's sad. But hey, it worked out. We had somebody. We had a laborer that could jump in and replace that person, so we didn't have to reallocate anything. And actually, now that we pop over here, there it is. The first death. Got the first one. Not of old age. Unfortunate. But folks can go here. They can go and look at the graves. Helps them to sort of, you know, feel better. So it's good to have. It helps with town happiness. Look at these trees. Man, I'm just jumping all over the place. I apologize. But look at these. These look great. At about 4% yield. So these are just going to grow throughout the season. And then at a certain point, somebody will go and they'll harvest. Some maintenance. They'll go and clear out weeds and stuff like that. But yeah, looking really good. Those look great. Maybe we'll have another one over here. Anyway, let's get back to the trading post. So trading post has a bunch of different tabs. Inventory is just going to be what is in the inventory, what's in the trading post. So the trading post can store items much like a storage barn, much like a market, but you store items there for the sole purpose of trading with a vessel when it comes by. So you see a little boat and you'll get a little toast notification. A little boat will come there and dock. And then whatever you have in your inventory at the time is what you can trade with them. So it's advantageous. Let's actually slow this down for a sec. It's advantageous to stock your trading post early, because you don't want to have to there's a time limit when the vessel docks, so you only have a certain amount of time where you can go and trade goods with them, and you don't want your people running around having to grab all that stuff, and you might miss out on trading opportunities. So it's a good idea to put stuff in here ahead of time. Now here's another potential supply chain issue. When you put stuff in here, when you put a desired count, right? Let's say I want to put 100 fish in here. So I'm going to put 100 fish in here, and the folks who work here are going to get to work and they're going to go grab fish from here, right? So because we're siphoning 100 fish into this, right, they're going to constantly be keeping this stocked, right? So this is always going to be, we want 100 fish in here. So they're going to continue to pull from the storage barns in order to fill up their inventory, which makes sense, right? Now, that can cause supply chain issues because there they are right there. Trader, inventory, 20 fish. So they're going to bring 20 fish. So they're constantly going to be pulling items from these places. So if you ever see, you're like, wow, where's all my food? You know, you go to the town hall and you're like, no, look, inventory, according to this, I have enough fish. I have 348 fish. You can go in. This is where this field, this little drop down becomes super relevant, because your folks, they're not too smart, you know. They're just going to keep filling it. So you have to pay attention to that. So here we go. So as you add items to your inventory, right? We've got 100 in our inventory. We want to have 100. You go to the trade tab, and you can see the value of those items. So fish are sold at one money, $1, let's just say, per fish. So it's a 1-to-1. So you sell 100 fish, you get $100. Some items are more desirable and they'll sell at a higher value. Might be a 4, might be an 8 if it's really good. So it's advantageous for you to try and make items that sell for more. So it's an item that we can replicate pretty quickly. Let's do hide coats. Let's just do 20 of them, just to see what that does. Look at that. Hide coats go for 15. That's a lot. That's crazy. So for every one coat you sell, you're going to get $15. 15 gold. Yeah. So it makes sense. You're going to want to produce items that have a higher value. Now, keep in mind, hide coats require leather, right? You want to make hide coats, right there, you got to have leather. And the only way that you get leather is you go hunt. And you have to be careful because there's only, you know, there's deer, right? And there's a certain set amount of deer that come in and out, but they migrate. So if you go and you put too many hunters' cabins, you're not going to have enough deer. And then you're going to run out of the item and you're going to deplete it. This is like the Lorax, right? This is cutting down the truffle trees. If you overproduce, if you find something that's valuable, most likely it's going to be an item that has some finite inventory. So just be careful. Something to keep in mind. You know, we want to make money, but not at the cost of ruining the local ecosystem, because if we throw that off, then no more hide coats for our villagers, no more venison. So it's important stuff. No more leather. Something to keep in mind. Now, there's going to be certain things that you can, you know, once you get, you know, let's say sheep or cows or whatever, they produce sort of sustainable methods of gathering some of these materials, but there's still an ebb and flow, right? Like obviously you can build, you know, big old pasture with a whole bunch of cows and say, well, I'm just going to get my leather from there. But, you know, there's a cycle. It takes a while for those cows to mature, and then you got to kill them, and you only get a certain amount of leather from those. And in order to maintain a supply, you're going to have to build more and more and more, and you're going to more people, more labor, more food to sustain that workforce. And herein lies the most dangerous game component of this entire thing, is that the more you build, the more you're going to have to produce a supply chain behind it in order to support it, right? In order to maintain that workforce, in order to maintain that economy, you're going to have the operations to make it run. This is super nerdy. I'm a bit of an operations nerd. That's like my field. That's what I work in. But you have to think about that. You know, it's good to make money. It's good to have 15 gold hide coats. But what goes into the hide coat in order to get to this point? So you just have to be careful. You have to be conservative. You have to produce what you need, and just be strategic about exactly what you're putting in place in order to build some of this stuff out, because, you know, you don't want to get down the line and overproduce and run out of land. It also is very indicative of how you want to play this game. Do you want to build a sprawling, you know, almost megalopolis, whole giant society that fills up the map? Or do you want to have like a smaller town and sustain a smaller town? Choice is yours. You know, you can do a lot of really cool things with this. You can have a smaller town with, you know, with nicer stuff. Like, you know, we could keep this size town, maybe build out a little bit, but we have enough food to sustain us. We've got tools, we've got coats. You know, for the most part, we're restrained by the number of houses we have, but we could upgrade every single one of these houses to stone houses. It provides more warmth. So, rapid growth, not necessarily the best strategy every time. It can be, but, you know, the choice is yours. I think this is a good point to stop for today's episode. So we did a lot today. We built out a trading post, which was great. We built a town hall, built some roads, talked a little bit about the mechanics of all this stuff, saw our population grow. This is all good. Amesburyport is a thriving little town with you know, almost 50 people. So in the next episode, we're gonna look at maybe expanding our presence a little bit, maybe upgrading some of these homes, some quality of life upgrades, and making everything look pretty. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. Please remember to like and subscribe. That is an indicator for me to continue to make videos like this. The stuff that you like and subscribe to, I can see, and I will do more of those. The ones that don't have the support, I won't do those ones. So I really appreciate you taking a moment to do that. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye now.